There is a great secret, and few ever realize it. Your focus is the most powerful tool you possess. Wherever you direct it, energy flows, and reality shapes itself accordingly. Yet most people scatter their focus, chasing validation, explaining themselves, seeking approval from those who do not hold the power to shape their destiny. You must withdraw from this futile pursuit. Turn within. You do not need to explain your journey to anyone. Silence is misunderstood by those who fear their own thoughts, but it is the foundation upon which all creation rests. Your silence is not emptiness, it is alignment. In silence, the greatest revolutions begin. In silence, the most profound shifts occur. Let the world wonder, let them assume, let them question, it does not concern you. When you are focused on yourself, you step into a power that cannot be seen but is deeply felt. Others may not understand why you have grown distant, why you no longer engage in trivial distractions, but that is not your burden to carry. Your purpose is not to convince anyone of your transformation. Your purpose is to embody it. Detach from the noise, detach from the opinions. The moment you stop explaining yourself is the moment you reclaim your power. When you no longer chase, beg, or seek validation, life begins to work in your favor. Doors open, paths clear. What you once struggled to attain now flows effortlessly into your reality. Do not waste your breath trying to make people see what only you were meant to understand. Remain silent and trust, for in your silence, the unseen is taking form. In your solitude, something greater is being built. Focus on yourself, and soon the world will focus on you, not because you sought its attention, but because you no longer needed it. The world you experience is nothing more than a reflection of the thoughts you continuously hold within your mind. Every circumstance, every encounter, and every event is a mirror, showing you what you have accepted as truth about yourself and life. Most people believe that life happens to them, that events unfold randomly, that circumstances are dictated by forces outside their control. But the reality is far different. Life is shaped from within. The world you walk through each day is not separate from you. It is a projection of your assumptions, beliefs, and deeply held thoughts. When you allow yourself to fully grasp this truth, you begin to realize the immense power you hold. Nothing exists independently of your awareness. If you assume yourself to be limited, struggling, or unworthy, life will mold itself to confirm those beliefs. It will present obstacles, rejection, and hardship, not because you are destined to suffer, but because that is what you unconsciously affirm. But if you assume yourself to be worthy, abundant, and successful, the world must shape itself to reflect that state of being. It has no choice. Your beliefs act as an invisible architect constructing the reality you walk through each day. These beliefs are not just idle thoughts that pass through your mind. They are the foundations upon which your entire life is built. If you constantly tell yourself that success is difficult, that love is rare, or that happiness is fleeting, you will see these ideas play out before you, not because they are absolute truths, but because you have accepted them as such. On the other hand, when you change the way you think, when you replace doubt with certainty, fear with confidence, and limitation with possibility, life begins to shift in ways that seem almost miraculous. It is not enough to simply wish for change while continuing to entertain the same limiting thoughts. True transformation requires a shift in consciousness, a deep and unwavering belief that what you desire is already yours. This is where most people falter. They allow the evidence of the physical world to dictate their beliefs, instead of understanding that their beliefs create the physical world. They look at their current circumstances and reinforce them by reacting emotionally, further embedding those unwanted experiences into their reality. But the key to changing your life is to first change what you accept as true within yourself. Assume the feeling of already being the person you wish to become. not someday, not in the distant future, but right now. Let your thoughts reflect that reality. If you desire success, do not dwell on failure. If you seek love, do not entertain thoughts of loneliness. If you wish for abundance, let go of ideas of lack. The more you persist in an assumption, the more it solidifies into reality. Life does not respond to your wishes, it responds to your convictions. The shift does not happen overnight. The mind, conditioned by years of habitual thinking, will resist at first. Doubt will creep in. The external world may continue to reflect the old beliefs for a while, but your job is not to react to the old reality. It is to persist in your new assumption, knowing that the external world is only a delayed reflection of your inner state. If you hold firm, if you refuse to let appearances dictate your inner world, you will witness a transformation so profound that it will feel as though the entire universe has conspired to shift in your favor. Most people remain trapped in the cycle of reacting to life rather than creating it. They wake up each day and allow their environment to dictate how they feel, what they believe, and what they expect. But the moment you take control of your inner world, everything changes. You are no longer a passive participant, you become the creator. You begin to walk through life with an unshakable confidence, knowing that you are the master of your destiny. Hold the assumption of your ideal life so firmly in your mind that it becomes more real to you than the world you currently see. Do not wait for evidence, create it. Do not seek external validation, know it within. When your inner world shifts, the outer world has no choice but to follow. Holds a power that few truly understand. In a world that thrives on noise, where people constantly seek validation through words and external recognition, the ability to remain silent is often mistaken for weakness. But true strength does not need to announce itself. It does not seek to prove, argue, or convince. It simply is. The greatest transformations, the most profound shifts in life, happen in silence, away from the noise of opinions and distraction. Silence is the space where real power is cultivated. It is in silence that the mind clears, that thoughts become intentional, and that desires take form. When you resist the urge to explain yourself, when you stop feeling the need to justify your actions, you reclaim the energy that is so often wasted on trying to make others understand you. Not everyone is meant to understand your journey, and that is perfectly fine. Your growth, your success, your transformation, none of it requires the approval of others. The most successful, powerful individuals move in silence. They do not broadcast their plans, their struggles, or their next moves. Instead, they focus inward, directing all their energy toward their vision, allowing their actions and results to do the speaking for them. Words can be manipulated, misunderstood, or dismissed, but results are undeniable. When you commit to your path and refuse to be distracted by external noise, you step into a power that few possess, the power of quiet certainty. When you speak less, you observe more. You begin to notice things that others overlook. You become attuned to the subtle shifts in energy, the hidden opportunities, and the unspoken intentions of those around you. Silence sharpens your intuition, giving you an edge that cannot be acquired through loudness or constant expression. When you are silent, you listen, not just to others, but to yourself, to the whispers of your own soul, to the guidance that comes when the mind is still. Many people fear silence because they associate it with invisibility, with being overlooked or forgotten. But the opposite is true. Those who master the art of silence command a presence that is felt even when they do not speak. There is a quiet confidence in those who do not need to fill every moment with words. Their energy speaks for them. Their actions make a statement that no speech could ever match. Discipline yourself to resist the urge to announce your every move. Not everyone needs to know what you are working on, what you are struggling with, or what you intend to achieve. The more you reveal, the more room you leave for doubt, interference, and negativity from those who do not have your best interests at heart. Protect your energy by keeping your plans close. Let people see the results when they manifest, not when they are still in the delicate process of formation. There will always be those who misunderstand your silence, who mistake it for a lack of direction or purpose. But that is because they have not yet learned that the greatest storms build in quiet, the most profound transformations happen when no one is watching. The most unstoppable people do not announce themselves. They emerge, fully formed, when the time is right. Resist the urge to react, to explain, to seek approval. Move in silence, not because you are afraid to speak, but because you know that true power does not need to be declared. It is felt, and when the time comes, the world will see what you have been building, not through your words, but through the undeniable reality of your success. The need for validation is one of the greatest chains that bind people to lives of limitation. From a young age, many are conditioned to seek approval, to be praised, to be accepted, to be acknowledged, but in doing so, they unknowingly give away their power. The moment you look outside yourself for validation, you allow the opinions of others to dictate your worth, your choices, and ultimately, your destiny. True freedom begins the moment you detach from this need and realize that you do not require permission to become the person you were meant to be. When you constantly seek validation, you live in a state of uncertainty. You measure your worth based on how others perceive you, and because opinions are ever changing, so is your sense of self. One day you may feel confident because someone praises you. The next you may feel doubtful because someone criticizes you. This is a dangerous way to live because it means your inner world is controlled by forces outside of you, but the truth is no one can define you except yourself. No one holds the authority to determine your value. The only validation you truly need is your own. Detaching from external validation is not about rejecting feedback or isolating yourself from the world. It is about recognizing that you are the ultimate authority over your life. You must learn to trust your own judgment, to stand firm in your beliefs even when others do not understand them. If you are constantly looking for reassurance, you will always be at the mercy of others' opinions, and your life will become a reflection of their expectations rather than your true desires. The greatest minds, the most successful individuals, and the most powerful people in history did not seek approval. They walked their path with certainty, often in the face of opposition, ridicule, and doubt. They understood that seeking validation is a distraction, a way of handing control over to those who do not see the vision as clearly as they do. They were not swayed by public opinion because they knew that true conviction does not require confirmation. When you stop seeking validation, you become unshakable. You no longer need constant reassurance that you are on the right path. You simply trust yourself. You move with a quiet confidence, knowing that your worth is not up for debate. This shift in mindset liberates you. You are no longer held back by fear of judgment. You stop hesitating, stop second-guessing, and start living fully, unapologetically, as the person you were meant to be. Many people remain trapped in a cycle of seeking approval because they fear rejection. They fear being misunderstood or criticized, but rejection is not a reflection of your worth. It is simply a sign that not everyone is meant to walk with you. The opinions of others are shaped by their own limitations, fears, and beliefs. What someone else thinks of you has nothing to do with you and everything to do with them. The moment you understand this, you reclaim your power. Walking your path with certainty does not mean you will never face resistance. In fact, the stronger your belief in yourself, the more you will challenge the status quo, and the more opposition you may encounter. But this is not a sign to stop. It is a sign to keep going. If you live for approval, you will live a life of compromise, but if you live for truth, you will experience a freedom that most people never taste. Trust yourself. You do not need permission to evolve, to grow, to change. You do not need approval to chase your dreams, to walk away from what no longer serves you, or to step into the life you desire. The only permission you need is your own. And when you give it to yourself, when you fully embrace the power that has always been within you, the world will have no choice but to recognize the force that you have become. Energy is the currency of life. Where you direct it determines what you experience. Most people spend their energy carelessly, focused on others, consumed by opinions, reacting to external circumstances. They scatter their power, giving their attention to things that do not serve them, and then wonder why life feels chaotic and unfulfilling. But the truth is simple. The energy you give is the energy you receive. If you pour your attention into distractions, you will receive more distractions. If you obsess over what others think, you will feel uncertain and dependent on their approval. But if you focus on yourself, your growth, your desires, your inner world, life aligns in your favor, bringing you exactly what you seek. Many do not realize how much energy they waste by being overly concerned with others. They analyze people's opinions, compare themselves, and seek validation, not understanding that every thought and emotion directed outward weakens their own power. The more you give your energy to others in this way, the less you have for yourself. This is why so many feel drained, stuck, or lost, because their energy is not focused on their own path. They are living reactively instead of intentionally. But when you shift that focus inward, everything changes. You reclaim your energy. You stop chasing and start attracting. The moment you prioritize yourself, your goals, your mindset, your well-being, you begin to move differently. You radiate confidence, and that confidence draws opportunities, people, and circumstances that align with your desires. This is not a coincidence. It is a reflection of the law that governs all things. What you send out is what you receive. If you constantly focus on negativity, on what is wrong, on what you lack, on what others are doing, you invite more of the same into your life. But if you shift your energy to gratitude, self-improvement, and possibility, life responds accordingly. It is not about forcing things to happen, but about creating the right internal environment for them to happen naturally. When you operate from a place of abundance, abundance flows toward you. When you move with certainty, life mirrors that certainty back to you. This is why focusing on yourself is the most powerful thing you can do. It is not selfish, it is necessary. The more you invest in your own energy, the more magnetic you become. You do not need to chase, convince, or struggle. You simply need to align. And alignment happens when you stop looking outward for direction and start trusting that everything you need is already within you. The world will try to pull your energy in 1,000 different directions. It will tempt you to compare, to react, to seek approval. But every time you give in to these distractions, you weaken your own power. Instead, discipline yourself to remain focused. Ask yourself daily, where is my energy going? Is it fueling my growth, or is it being wasted on things beyond my control? When you truly understand that energy is your most valuable asset, you will guard it fiercely. You will stop engaging in pointless arguments. You will stop explaining yourself to people who are committed to misunderstanding you. You will stop seeking love, success, or happiness outside of yourself, because you will know that everything you desire is a reflection of the energy you cultivate within. Let others do as they wish. Let them think as they please. None of that concerns you. Your only responsibility is to master your own energy, to direct it with intention, and to trust that by doing so, life will unfold exactly as it should. When you focus on yourself, you are not ignoring the world. You are simply choosing to shape it rather than be shaped by it. And in doing so, you unlock a power that few ever realize, the power to create the life you truly desire. Not everyone is meant to understand you. This is a truth that once accepted will set you free. Many people spend their lives trying to explain themselves, justify their choices, and gain approval from those who were never meant to see their vision. But when you seek understanding from others, you give away your power. You make their perception more important than your own growth. The reality is your journey is yours alone, and not everyone will see it, appreciate it, or support it, and that is perfectly fine. As you evolve, you will notice that your silence unsettles people. Some will misinterpret your distance as arrogance, coldness, or even rejection. They will question why you are not as available, why you no longer engage in meaningless conversations, why you have shifted your focus inward, but their confusion is not your concern. The path of growth requires solitude. It demands that you remove yourself from distractions, from unnecessary attachments, and from the need to explain yourself at every turn. Those who truly align with you will not need an explanation. They will understand your silence without question. When you begin to change, when you elevate your thinking, when you prioritize your peace, when you no longer entertain negativity, some will feel uncomfortable. They may resist your transformation because it challenges their own way of being. They were comfortable with who you used to be, with the version of you that was always available, always explaining, always seeking approval. But you are not here to remain stagnant for the comfort of others. You are here to grow. And growth often requires outgrowing people, places, and patterns that no longer serve you. Let them misunderstand you. Let them create their own stories about why you have become more distant, more focused, more selective with your energy. It is not your job to correct their assumptions. Your only responsibility is to continue evolving. Those who are meant to be in your life will adjust to your growth. Those who are not will remove themselves. Either way, it is not your burden to carry. One of the greatest mistakes you can make is slowing down your own progress just to be more relatable to others. You do not need to shrink yourself to fit into spaces you have outgrown. You do not need to dim your light so that others feel comfortable in your presence. The right people, the ones who are aligned with your purpose, will not only accept your transformation, but will celebrate it. They will respect your silence, understand your distance, and support your decision to focus on yourself. There is great power in realizing that understanding is not a requirement for connection. Some of the most profound shifts in your life will happen in solitude, without validation, without applause, and without explanation. This is because true transformation happens within. It is an internal process, not something that needs to be broadcasted or justified. You do not need the world to understand you. You only need to understand yourself. If you spend your energy trying to convince others of your worth, your vision, or your decisions, you will exhaust yourself. Instead, let your actions speak. Move in silence. Focus on your path. Allow your evolution to unfold naturally. The right people will recognize your growth without needing an explanation. The wrong people will question it, because they were never meant to follow you on this journey. Your purpose is not to be understood, it is to evolve, to become the highest version of yourself, to embrace change without hesitation, to walk your path with confidence, even when no one else sees the destination. Let them misunderstand, let them talk, let them wonder, it does not matter. What matters is that you keep moving forward unshaken, unapologetic, and fully aligned with who you are meant to be. Faith is not built in what is seen. It is built in what is unseen. It is the quiet confidence that what you hold within will inevitably become your reality. Most people struggle with this because they seek external confirmation before they believe. They want signs, validation, and proof before they trust in their desires. But true faith requires no proof. It demands that you trust the unseen so completely that the outer world has no choice but to conform. When you withdraw from the need to explain yourself, you allow faith to work in your favor. You stop looking for validation from others, and instead you rest in the knowing that what you have accepted within will soon take shape in the physical world. The need to convince others is a sign of doubt. If you truly believed, you would not feel the need to explain, defend, or justify your vision. You would hold it in silence, knowing that time will reveal all things. There is immense power in keeping your desires private. Many people weaken their manifestations by speaking too soon, sharing their dreams with those who cannot see what they see. They open themselves up to doubt, criticism, and external opinions that dilute their inner certainty. But when you understand how faith operates, you no longer seek permission or approval. You hold your vision close, nurturing it in the unseen, until it becomes undeniable. Everything in this world begins as an unseen idea. The tallest buildings, the greatest inventions, the most profound transformations, all started as thoughts. Before they became visible, they existed in the mind of someone who dared to believe. They did not need the world's approval. They did not need others to understand. They simply held on to their vision with unwavering faith, allowing it to take root and grow in silence. You must do the same. Instead of explaining yourself, focus on embodying the version of yourself that already has what you seek. If you desire success, feel successful now. If you desire love, feel loved now. If you desire abundance, feel abundant now. Your imagination is the blueprint for your future, and what you persist in assuming will harden into fact. This is how faith operates, not by waiting for proof, but by trusting that the unseen is more real than what the eyes perceive. Most people live in reverse. They react to their current circumstances and assume that what they see is all there is. They forget that their current reality is simply a reflection of past thoughts and beliefs. If they wish to change their life, they must first change what they accept as true within. This is where faith becomes essential. It is the bridge between the invisible and the visible, between the imagined and the experienced. Silence is the companion of faith. When you move in silence, you allow the unseen to work on your behalf. You do not waste energy explaining yourself to those who cannot see what you see. You do not seek reassurance from the world. Instead, you stand firm in your belief, knowing that the manifestation is already on its way. The moment you let go of the need to prove anything, you step into alignment with the very thing you desire. Others wonder. Let them question your silence, your distance, your unwavering confidence. It is not your job to make them understand. Your only task is to hold your vision so steadily that nothing can shake it. When you master this, life will unfold effortlessly in your favor. What was once unseen will become undeniable. What was once only imagined will become your lived reality. And when that day comes, you will realize that faith was never about proving anything to others. It was always about proving it to yourself. The journey of focusing on yourself and staying silent is one of inner mastery. It requires you to detach from the need for validation, to trust in the unseen, and to understand that not everyone is meant to comprehend your path. True power does not announce itself, it moves in silence, allowing faith to shape reality without the need for explanation. When you withdraw from distractions and external opinions, you reclaim your energy, align with your desires, and step into the life you were meant to live. Let others misunderstand you. Let them question your distance. It is not your concern. Your purpose is not to be seen or validated. It is to evolve. The less you explain, the more life unfolds in your favor. So walk in quiet confidence, knowing that what you hold within will manifest without. Move with certainty, trust in yourself, and let your results speak louder than words ever could. Thank you.